You ready to take your leadership journey to the next level? On the leadership platform TLP, we don't just talk about leadership, we live it. This year, we are bringing you cutting-edge insights, transformative tools, and real-world strategies to help you lead with confidence, purpose, and impact. This year, we have 4 seasons with 50 episodes. We will dive into themes such as leading self, leading others, and leading institutions. We bring you Leaders Are Leaders. This monthly session focuses on book reviews, discussions, encouraging all participants to read along with selected books on personal leadership and professional leadership. We also have a time with the CEO. In this segment, we dive into the stories of prominent CEOs who share their insights, lessons learned throughout their leadership journey. We also bring you extraordinary leadership stories, highlighting individuals in our societies who are doing extraordinary things. This segment inspires viewers with real-life examples of leadership in action. We will bring you some brilliant minds, courageous leaders changing the narrative of Africa. We also bring you finally the expert-led sessions, which cover a wide range of leadership and personal development topics, providing practical guidance and actionable strategies for personal and professional development. The leadership platform is your go-to space for personal growth, professional breakthroughs, and meaningful connections. I am Joy Bunsu-Schmutz, co-host on TLP, and I will see you every Saturday, 7 p.m. GMT, live on YouTube and Facebook.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Platform. Thank you so much for connecting. And if you are connected, kindly introduce yourself. Let us know where you are connecting from. Give us your name and where you are connecting from so that we will be glad to introduce you to the whole wide world. This is Saturday, the 20th of June 2026, and we are going to have a blast. Are you ready to grow and still stay young? Today, we are exploring the subject of aging and how we can grow younger and younger and younger. You don't want to miss this, and we have an amazing leader on the show. She's been here before. This will be her third show or third time showing up on the leadership platform. And those of you who are regular on this platform, you know that whenever Naa comes on the platform, it's a blast. It's nuggets, it's great wisdom, it's great knowledge, great information that is going to help you to live your life better. And today is going to be amazing. So please subscribe to our channel, like our pages so that people will know what you are learning. Invite your friends, invite your colleagues, invite your teammates, and just lock up everything and just focus. For today, I want you to be present because this is probably going to be one of the most important sessions we are having. So you don't want to miss it. Yes, I know that many of you, when you join, you don't necessarily want to show up by commenting and introducing yourself, that is fine. But if you can, that would be great because that way we can have an interaction with you. Yes, one of my great friends and great leaders who's doing great things on leadership in women, Patience Antonio, is already connected. Patience, thank you so very much. We are grateful you are always here. And I saw the graduation, your first graduation of your Women's Institute, and it was amazing. You have to send me the videos. Congratulations. And let's see who else is in the room. Let's see. All right. Okay, I see Portia. Portia from Ghana, Canada Medical Center. And Portia, you probably want to invite our speaker this evening to Ghana, Canada to share with your team. This will be good. I know it is going to be good. I know how you love to empower your people in Ghana, Canada Hospital. So we're going to have a lot to learn, so I will not waste too much time. Recently, I was in the old school reunion, and as we were enjoying ourselves, one of my colleagues approached me with his wife. Apparently, they have been discussing among themselves. The wife was asking him whether I was part of their year group. This was supposed to be a 40-year anniversary of the of our old school secondary school, Nifa Secondary School, and the wife was doubting whether I was part of their year group. And so they were debating, and the guy says, yeah, he was our class. He says, no, he doesn't look like one of you. And so they approached me with their debate to resolve the riddle. And the riddle was very simple. The wife thought that I looked too young, looked at all my mates around. It looks like I went to school with some very old people. I was in class with some very old people. And the wife was doubting whether I was in their class. So when I said yes, she was surprised. Well, I thought I was young until I went to see Naa, and she and her people did some scans on my system, and the scan was saying I was almost 10 years older within my system than my biological age. So I told Naa that this one, the system is really challenging me because I had made a decision to go to the Supreme Court to ask for interpretation of my age. Ladies and gentlemen, why is it that some people appear so old, older than their age, some younger than their age? Why is it that sometimes you see somebody young but loses energy and does not have any energy in their system? Why is it that you see a vibrant person and, like my friend would say, all of a Sudan just drop dead? We are in a very high stress environment and we are running like crazy. And that's what I found from my bio report, which Naa is going to share with us. Not my report, she's going to share knowledge about how you can determine your system, how your system is functioning, so that you can take preventative action. Yes, when we were younger, we used to say provision is better than cures. Protection or prevention is better than cure. A lot of the time, we spend so much money on our health just curing diseases. But how if Knight told you that you could actually prevent those diseases from coming and save yourself a lot of money? All right, I will not take the wind out of the sail of Naa, who is ready and now getting a bit impatient that I am going to do her presentation for her, even though I have no clue what she is going to share in much any detail. So our speaker this evening is Dr. Naa Asheley Ashietey. Okay, so Dr. AA. Dr. Naa Asheley Ashietey is a trailblazer in health and wellness, and she's revolutionizing care in Ghana and beyond. As a founder and CEO of the Nova Wellness Center, she has championed non-surgical spinal decompression, chiropractic care, and integrated health solutions, earning recognition as Ghana's leading expert in this field. A graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, Dr. Ashietey brought her expertise home after honing her skills at Cairo One Wellness Center in the US, transforming the landscape in Ghana. And I can tell you, I have been a beneficiary. One day, not only once, twice, I couldn't even walk. And when I walk into her shop, like they say, within a twinkle, I was walking back home very well. Under her leadership, Nova Wellness Center has grown into a beacon of innovation, blending advanced therapies with natural therapy treatment to restore health, vitality to the clients. The center, recognized as Ghana's best wellness company in 2022, serves thousands of patients yearly, empowering them to move better, feel better, and live healthier lives. Dr. Ashietey impacts Dr. Ashietey's impact extends far beyond her clinic walls. She's a certified ergonomist who works with corporations to foster workplace wellness and serves marginalized communities with unmatched compassion. A celebrated entrepreneur and a recipient of multiple awards, including Outstanding CEO at the Ghana West Africa Business Excellence Award, she embodies resilience, vision, and commitment to advancing healthcare in Africa. When she's not transforming lives, Dr. Ashietey is an avid fitness enthusiast, devoted mother of two, and advocate for holistic well-being. Her message of empowerment and wellness will leave you inspired and ready to flourish. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me not bore you any further. Let me bring onto the stage somebody you already know, Dr. Naa Asheley Ashietey. So Naa, and that happens to be her abbreviations also. So Naa, N-A, Naa. Naa, my good friend, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Uncle Sam.
Thank you so much. Welcome again to the Leadership Platform. We're always excited to have you. How are you feeling today? Tell us what is the one word that describes how you're feeling this evening.
Excited.
Excited, excited. It's like I'm excited also to have you. Always good to have you. Well, we know you already. We are not going to spend any more time. We need you to share with us into as much detail as you can. The people on the platform are ready. Guys, introduce yourself. I see Ruth from Adenta is here already, and I know she's ready. And maybe you will see her in your clinic very, very soon. And I see Dennis from Tesano is also here. And I'm sure Dennis, after this presentation, will also be visiting you. So I am going to leave you to share with us this whole topic of what bio something something, brain something something, wellness and aging. How can you reverse aging? A thing that God has put into the system, you want to reverse that. Over to you now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Let me go ahead and share my slides, hopefully. All right. Thank you so much, CTL platform, for having me back. It's always great to be here and share with you all. And today we're going to talk about how we can age gracefully, or how we can slow down the aging process. Uncle Sam he did a great introduction for me. We all know people that you see them and they look much younger than their age. And then you see people who also look so much older, and all of the in between. So I started a journey of learning about regenerative health because I realized that in recent times we're losing a lot of young people. I always say, when I go onto my social media pages, most of the time the first thing you see is an obituary, and these days it's usually of a young person. So I started doing some research on what is making people sick. Why are we losing so many people young? Because growing up, usually when you hear somebody has passed away, they're 60, they're 70. But now, more often than not, they're younger. And that's what led me to study regenerative health. So we're going to talk about that today. And one of the words that you keep hearing about is biohacking. Biohacking this. So what is it? Biohacking is just a simple term which is used to define how to implement certain things to improve the way your cells function, improving your body function at the very basic level. That's what biohacking is. And we use technology, we use medicine, we use regenerative health, we use lifestyle to be able to improve our cells from inside out. Okay, so those are the things we're going to talk about here today. So what is aging? And aging is something that I'm going to be asking some questions, by the way. So if you're paying attention and you answer, my team is on. We're actually going to give away some gifts today to the CTO crew. So if you're very interactive, you're answering questions, who knows, you may get a massage, you may get a consultation. So please participate. You can type answers in the chat box if you're paying attention, or if you're able to. So what is aging? You can throw some answers in the comment section. When you think of aging, what comes to mind? Or what is the first thing when somebody says, you've aged, or somebody else has aged? What are you thinking about? Let's see some answers in the comment box. But most people are thinking of things like wrinkles when you talk about aging. Some people are thinking about things like difficulty walking or gray hair, and so on and so forth. That's what comes to mind when we hear the word aging. Now, there are two types of aging. There's the chronological age, and then there's the biological age. Chronological age is how many years you have lived since you were born. So since you came into this world, it's been 5 years, it's been 20 years, and so on and so forth. That's a chronological age. Then we also have the biological age. Now, the biological age is how old your cells or your body's organs inside you, how old they are. And we're usually able to detect that by certain functions of the cells. Okay, so when we look at how well your body is working, we're able to detect the biological age. So what affects this aging process? Now, I've listed here about 6 things which would affect both your chronological age and your biological age. Okay, so the first thing I have put here, believe you me, is sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Now, sleep is so important. It is totally underestimated. But if you don't sleep enough, you will age. I mean, think about it. If you were to, for whatever reason, maybe stress or whatever, go one whole week and maybe you had 4 hours of sleep the whole week. Just imagine that. How is your body going to feel without sleep? Okay. So that tells you sleep is important. The other thing that can move that needle is nutrition. What goes into your body, what you're consuming, stress levels, I mean, we're all adults here. So you can remember a time or two where you were stressed. It could have been so many things: heartbreak, death of a loved one. You would instantly age. Your face will change. Some people will lose weight. Your skin changes, and so on and so forth. So stress can also move that needle. Then your environment, the lifestyle, being active or sedentary, all these things can also affect aging. And then the last thing I put on here is genetics. Now, I put genetics last for a reason. A lot of the times, especially in our environment, we hear things like, oh, as for my family, everybody has high blood pressure. Or as for my family, breast cancer runs through, and things like that. Yes, there may be some truth to it, but there's a saying that I saw somewhere. The person said that lifestyle loads the gun, but genetics, no, I flipped it. Genetics loads the gun, but lifestyle pulls the trigger. I'll say that again. So if you have a gun, genetics is what will load the bullets into the gun. But before that trigger will be pulled, it is your lifestyle that would pull the trigger and cause the gun to actually fire. Okay. So, yes, there is the genetic component, but our lifestyle has a lot to add to whether or not that genetic component is going to act out. Okay. So, yes, we should put premium on genetics, but we need to also watch the lifestyle. Okay. So what is the science of aging? And thank you. Somebody says, young Dennis says, aging is how long you live and in good health. Thank you for that answer. So we're going to look at the science of aging inside our bodies. What does it mean? Okay. Now, I'm not trying to bore you with science, but I just want those of us who may have studied science in school. There was an organelle or a part of every cell called the mitochondria. Now, the mitochondria is what we call the powerhouse of the cell. That is where the energy that we need is created at the cellular level. Now, each cell, God being so, so wise, created so many cells in our body. So everybody has trillions, I think anywhere between 30 to 75 trillion cells. Now, imagine that each of these cells has between 200 to 10,000 mitochondria. So this may be the first time you're hearing this word. If you do the math, you realize that every human being has about anywhere from 20 to 100 quadrillion mitochondria. Okay, I'm sure a lot of you may not have heard this word before, but that's the OPPPPPPP. Okay, so it tells you how important these mitochondria are. Now we've realized that as we age, these numbers start to reduce, or the mitochondria start to decline. For instance, a woman's ovary has anywhere from 200 to about 600,000 mitochondria. The minute you go below 200,000 mitochondria in an ovary, that's infertility. So we realize that the mitochondria is extremely important. Now, as aging goes on and your mitochondria decline, a lot of our body's functions also decline. So a lot of the things that we do when we're doing biohacking is actually to help maintain or to slow down the mitochondria numbers, which naturally would be going down. Another thing that happens with aging is chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is when your body is not going back to healing mode. For instance, I always say, as you're sitting down listening to this workshop, if for whatever reason a lion appears, nobody is going to tell you to run. Like, it will just happen naturally. You will just start running. So all the energy is going to move into your legs, your arms, your blood pressure will go up so that you can pump blood through your body. Your eyes will open. You'll be breathing heavily. All these things will happen so that you can flee. So we call this the flight or fight stimulation, which happens when there's a threat. Okay, now this is sympathetic nervous system that allows all these things to happen. Now, after you run and the lion is not successful, and you look back and you don't see that lion, naturally, again, nobody is going to tell you, but your body is going to start to reverse all those things. And now you should move into parasympathetic. But guess what? Sometimes your body is not able to move into parasympathetic. So it is stuck in sympathetic dominance over a long period of time. That causes inflammation in your body because it means that all your organs are still overfiring, and that can cause inflammation. That's just one cause of inflammation. We have oxidative stress. That's when your chemical reactions are happening in your cells. A lot of the times they are byproducts, okay? And some of it is extra oxygen. So we call that oxidative stress. Now, when your body doesn't remove that extra oxygen, it accumulates, and then it can be toxic for your cells. So that can also lead to aging. Hormonal decline. As you're aging, for women, we know we get to menopause, for instance, it's because of hormonal decline. Even men, there are a lot of hormones that also go down as we age. Then we have DNA damage, where parts of your DNA start to shorten. So all these things happen when we're aging. Loss of muscle mass. You realize that you haven't changed your diet, but your muscles are not as thick or are not as healthy. Aging. Then the last one is reduced stem cell activity. Okay, so these are the things that show us that we're aging. Now, this is the best or the most important slide of this presentation. So if you don't hear anything at all that I say, I want you to pay attention to this. You can take pictures of this slide. You can record what I say as far as this slide is concerned. But this is what I really want us to take home. The best biohackers. Now, this you won't find anywhere. This is my combination from the research that I have done so far. I have come up with 10 things that I believe if we're all able to, even if we cannot master it fully, if we're able to work on these things, even if you're able to work on 50% of this, trust me, it's going to move your health from one stage all the way to another. So the first thing we're going to talk about again is sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. I mentioned it in the beginning. Now, sleep is a physiological process that usually for most people, because of what we call the circadian rhythm, for most people, sleep happens at night. Okay, apart from people who maybe they work more at night, so they will sleep during the day. For most of the population, they sleep at night. Now, what we don't realize is that everything that we do from when we wake up in the morning till night falls would determine how well or not we will sleep. I'll say that again. Even though sleep happens at night for most people, Everything we do from the minute we wake up in the morning throughout the day till night time will determine whether we'll have a good night's sleep or not. Let me give you an example. You wake up in the morning, first thing, maybe you say your prayers, you do your house chores. Next thing, you're getting ready for work, getting the kids ready for work. You sit in your car, you drive to work, you are indoors the whole day at work. You don't come out. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, back into your car, you drive home, back again. You are inside, and absolutely no sunlight. Zero sunlight. Okay. So light or infrared rays from the sun is supposed to be a part of our daily living. So when you go through your whole day with absolutely no sunlight, then you get home at night and then you eat that heavy meal. Then after that, you relax in your chair. You go and lay in your bed. Then you also take your phone. And then you at the point when you're supposed to be sleeping, you realize that you are activating your brain with more light radiation from your phone. And then your brain says, no, you are still at work, so I'm not going to let you sleep. That is how insomnia starts. That is how insomnia starts. So you are not able, your brain is not able to relax, to calm down for you to sleep. So you see that the number 2 on my list here is sunlight, because those two things go hand in hand. So if you're having difficulty sleeping, one of the things that, and I am speaking even from personal experience, honestly, I have suffered with insomnia for a long time. But once I learned about this and I started giving myself 10-15 minutes of sunlight early in the morning between 7 and 10 a.m., I literally will just finish with everything I have to do, stand outside for a few minutes and wait for the kids to get ready. We sit in the car and we go. I realized my sleep started improving. And I'll tell you why. It is because when we absorb the sunlight, one of the things we get is vitamin D. And guess what? Vitamin D is essential for majority of the hormones that your body needs to be able to be produced. So vitamin D is a precursor to a lot of hormonal production, including melatonin. So if you are not getting enough vitamin D, you are not making enough melatonin. Therefore, when it's time for you to sleep, your pineal gland, which is the gland in the brain that is responsible for releasing the melatonin for you to sleep, your pineal gland says, well, you didn't get sun today. There's no melatonin produced. There's nothing for me to release. Now, over time, there's something in science we call, if you don't use it, you lose it. Over time, what happens is that your pineal gland starts to calcify because it hasn't been releasing that melatonin, and it gets lazy. And then sleep becomes the most difficult thing. You are not able to sleep, or you start sleeping, you wake up 2 to 3 hours, and that's it. Sleep is gone. So let's look at what is happening right from when we wake up. Most people ask, and I can see somebody is asking in the comments, how many hours is required for sleep in a day? According to all the science that I have seen, we are saying, or the scientists, the researchers are saying, minimum 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep for adults. For children, it's even more. For children, it's supposed to be between 8 and 9 hours. But a lot of our kids, again, don't even get that much sleep because of long commutes and all those things. But these are some of the things, simple things that we can do. Spend a little bit of time, 10-15 minutes, at least 5 times a week, in that early morning sun to improve your vitamin D production. That way you get more hormones, and not only melatonin, a lot of the hormones we need: oxytocin, norepinephrine, adrenaline. A lot of these things need vitamin D. And for we as Black people, naturally, we don't even make that. We are just vitamin D deficient. And that's the more reason why God gave us so much sun. But because of industrialization these days, a lot of us do not get enough sunlight. Then we move on to the next one, hydration. Now, most of the time when we hear the word hydration, we're looking at water. And that's a huge part, okay? So water is very, 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 very important. And when I say water, I mean H2O water. I'm not talking about tea. I'm not talking about water mixed with this. Water, H2O. Now, when we talk about hydration, it's two things: water and salts. When we get diarrhea or when we get dehydrated, in Ghana, there's one particular thing that we usually are given. If anybody can tell me in the chat what that is. When we're severely dehydrated in Ghana, what do they give us? There's some mixture that they usually give us. Okay, so I'll come back and see if anybody knows what mixture I'm talking about. So we need salts as we are hydrating. Now, the salts I'm talking about, ORS, very good. I see some ORS answers there. Thank you. Oral rehydration salts. So that tells you that we need these salts to rehydrate. But we don't have to wait till we get diarrhea before we drink these salts. It means that we need these salts for normal hydration, normal life. We're talking about sodium, we're talking about chloride, we're talking about magnesium, potassium. All these things, we need them in our day-to-day lives, okay? But not only when we have diarrhea. Now, where do you think we can get these minerals from? What are the sources of these minerals? Today we're doing some science. So again, if you're able to type, where do you think we can source a lot of these salts from naturally in our nutrition? Where can we get some of these salts from? What type of food? If we're looking at foods, where do you think we get a lot of these minerals and vitamins from? So it's mostly from fruits and vegetables. It's mostly from fruits and vegetables, our greeneries. That's how we get these sodium and potassium and all these things. That's the best place to get it from. But a lot of the times, that is one part of our nutrition that is lacking: fruits and vegetables. So all I'm trying to say is, as a population who eats a very, very high starch diet, we are dehydrated. All the chemical reactions in your body need oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, mainly. So when you don't get enough of this hydration from water or the fruits and vegetables, naturally you're dehydrated. Your cells are not being nurtured, and that would affect how they function. The next thing I'll talk about is movement. Okay. Movement, movement, movement. We were not created to be sedentary. We were not created to just sit or be in one position. We are moving animals. But again, in today's world, all we do is sit. We can sit for hours, and we've done a talk here which focused on posture before, some years ago. You realize that you're sitting for long, you're sitting with poor posture, you don't move, you don't exercise, or you are even if you are working in the market, you go and you just sit. Even if you are home, you are constantly laying down. So lack of movement, that brings on joint pain, arthritis, difficulty moving, nerve issues. Your bones don't get that strength when you don't move around. So movement is key for so many things. To even get more oxygen, you have to move. To get more lubrication around your joints, you have to move. So under movement, you see that I've written exercise, I've written dance, I've written stretch. I have even included sex. And the reason why I included sex as part of movement is because I realized that when we exercise, our body releases some hormones. That's why sometimes you see when people are stressed out, they'll go for a run. At the end of that run, they feel better because your body naturally releases these dopamine, epinephrine hormones, and it makes you lighter, it makes you excited. Now, guess what? When you have sex, or when you do yoga, or when you do some dance exercise, you also release the same hormones. These same hormones, okay? So not moving, the effects are just countless. Now, guess what? One of the best ways you can improve on that mitochondria numbers we talked about in the beginning is to move, is to exercise. Because once you exercise, your cells get depleted of mitochondria. And then once they are depleted, naturally, your brain says, okay, the mitochondria is finishing, it's finishing. Then it starts creating more. And that's why sometimes when you finish exercising, you feel like you can take over the whole world because you are even more energetic, okay? Then the next biohacker I want to talk about is routine. Having a certain routine that you stick to, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly, whether it's quarterly, whether it's yearly. There's something that you yourself you're doing for your own wellness. Okay, so I'll give you an example. This is my wellness routine. Just everybody's should be different. I wake up at about 4:45. I go to the gym. I work out till about maybe 6:20 thereabout. So I usually get anywhere between 50 to 60 minutes of exercise, depending on how quickly I have to get ready. I get ready and then I'm out in the sun for at least 10 minutes. So from 7 a.m. to about 7:10, I call it sun gazing. I'm out there sun gazing. And guess what? I started doing it by myself, and my kids watch me, they see me doing it. And now you see them also trying to finish quickly, and then they want to come and sun gaze with mommy before we go to work. So this is my personal morning wellness routine. When I get back home, have dinner, do homework, do all those things, I make sure that whatever work I have to do on my phone or on my laptop, once I shut it and I climb my stairs, I don't touch any gadgets. That's it. Because I give myself at least 30 minutes without any light stimulation into my brain, so that 30 minutes to an hour, when I sleep, my brain doesn't feel like it's still working because it's sensing all the lights. So for me, and then a few things in between here and there. Sometimes if I'm very stressed at work, I'll take some deep breaths in and out. Or sometimes when I come home and I'm so tired, I'm so stressed, I will just shut everything out, go to my room, just breathe and breathe and breathe so that I can come down and be present with my kids. So that is my wellness routine. We also have the recovery routine. So with the recovery routine, what do you do when something very bad happens? You get fired at work. What do? Do you just cry and stop? How do you recover? Is it calling somebody? Is it going to play golf? Is it going to the gym? Is it getting something to read? You need to have a recovery routine as well, so that when the problems happen, you are quickly able to get some mental strength to be able to go on, and you don't drain in whatever is stressing you out. The next one is minimizing toxins. Okay, so the toxins we're talking about here is there's plenty, but I'm going to focus on plastics, alcohol, processed foods. We use too much plastics in our environment. You wake up in the morning, if you are going to buy cocoa, hot cocoa is in plastic. Lunch, takeaway bowl, plastic. Dinner, if you're not careful, still. Water, plastic. Now, all the research is showing that all these microplastics, especially with heat, especially when it's heated, that's why it's very bad to keep plastic water bottles in your car under the sun, and then you come and then you drink. Bad, 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 bad habits. Okay. Alcohol is a toxin when it's overdone. Processed foods, too much processed foods. We need to replace some of our processed foods with our natural foods as well. Then relationships is also a biohacker. Now, if you are walking around as an island and you don't have 3 people that you can call on when something bad happens, that's a problem. That alone is reducing how long you may be on this planet for. If you don't have 3 people that you can call on, having that ear to listen to you. A lot of people that have committed suicide, if you hear what happened, they will tell you, I felt like nobody was listening to me. Or they will leave a note and say things like, there was nobody to talk to, and so on and so forth. So relationships, great quality relationships, I think is 100% a biohacker for longevity. Breath work. That is one quick way you can move from the sympathetic dominance into the parasympathetic. I always give the example that I had a friend of mine give, and she said, even when you cry, and you cry so much naturally, at a point you do, that's your body literally breathing in some more to calm your nervous system down. It's like this human body is amazing. I've come to learn that, look, God created us so perfect. He thought about everything. The billions of reactions that are happening in your body for you to function. It's just amazing. So much so that even when you cry, naturally, you do this, and then you realize that slowly the crying stops. So breath work is an amazing way to shift from that sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic, and then your body starts to balance. Then the last thing here is meditation and prayer. I'm not talking about Christianity or Islam or anything, but there must be something outside of your body that you believe in. There must be something that you are able to look up to, that you think of, that is more than the rest of us here. And that also will help you to reduce aging, sickness, and so on and so forth. There was so much more I could have talked about, especially on nutrition. I kind of run through it because we're running out of time. But we really, really need to focus on what we're putting into our body. We eat too much cooked foods here in Ghana. So breakfast, you're having cocoa, bread, everything is highly cooked. Afternoon, banku, fufu, soup. Soup has boiled over 10 billion times. Evening, rice, stew. You realize that we don't eat enough raw food. So how much nutrients are we really getting in? So I want you all to think about that as you eat your next meal. But that is where you get the nutrients you need to thrive. When you eat raw, God's food, how he produced it for us. Okay. So these are my best 10 There are so many more. Everybody will be different, but for me and the research that I've done and my own experience, I think that if we're able to learn how to maximize these things, you can take it one step at a time. This month, I'm focusing on my sleep for the next 2 months. By the fourth month, I want to be able to exercise. I want to improve my movements. I want to be more flexible, and so on and so forth. And by the time it's the end of the year, you realize that you know how to breathe, you know how to meditate, and so on and so forth. Now, if you are not able to do those 10 things, or it's difficult for you, you realize that the 10 things I just talked about cost absolutely nothing. Apart from the food that maybe you buy, all the other things, it doesn't cost you anything to be in the sun. It doesn't cost you anything to move, exercise, dance, sex. Usually doesn't cost anything. But if you don't do those things, then you may now need what we call advanced biohacking therapies. And I'll quickly run through these because our time is gone. The sauna, you may have heard if you're on social media. Well, I follow a lot of wellness trends, so that's all I see, the benefits of the sauna. The sauna is a heated, usually wooden chamber, which you go in and the temperature is extremely high. We're looking at temperatures like 90 to 120 Fahrenheit, very high temperature, and you soak in that temperature for about 20 to 30 minutes. It makes you sweat. It just boosts your inner core temperature. It's like you give yourself a fever is what you're doing. Now, mind you, when we're sick, again, this is how smart the human body is. When we're sick and we get fever, it's not a bad thing. It's part of the healing process. We call something heat shock proteins. When you're sick and your temperature goes up, that is when your body releases those heat shock proteins for you to heal. So we are literally forcing your body to release those heat shock proteins when we go into the sauna. It helps with your cardiovascular strength, so your blood circulates more. And as you sweat, it's profuse sweating. So you bring out a lot of toxins from your body. I've only listed like 2-3 benefits of the sauna. Then we also have cryotherapy. That's a fancy word for ice. You see all these athletes. There was a time where everybody was doing like an ice bucket challenge. You jump into the ice and then there are very fancy reactions and so on and so forth. This also moves your body into an extreme cold just for a few minutes. That one, not more than 3 minutes. And again, it releases certain healing proteins. It helps to slow down inflammation. When something happens, maybe you hurt your wrist, usually you'll be told to ice it. So now imagine you haven't hurt anything, but now you soak your whole body in ice. And what does it do? It helps to remove or slow down inflammation. So at Nova Viva, we do something we call contrast therapy, where we'll put you in the extreme heat and then we also put you in the extreme cold. That way, we're taking your body to the extremes and it naturally heals. Okay. We also have infrared therapy. Now, with the infrared therapy, like I said, you can get infrared rays from the sun. However, we have a pod that you can go in and soak the infrared rays. And the benefits, one of the main things the infrared therapy does is to boost the production of your mitochondria. Because again, those rays would speed up a lot of chemical reactions in your body, including mitochondria production. So your energy goes up. We also have some aesthetics. We have ultrasound facials, which is one of the best advanced therapies you can have to build collagen in your face. It's not for women only, but it helps to remove wrinkles. It helps to build more collagen in your face. We have something we call molecular hydrogen bottle, which boosts the hydrogen that is already in your water. And what the hydrogen does is to squeeze out or blot out those oxygen oxidative stress I talked about in the beginning. That way you don't have the accumulation of those free radicals in your body. We have stem cell patches that help regenerate your stem cells. We do platelet-rich plasma, which uses your own plasma in areas of injury. Peptide therapy, supplementation with vitamins. Okay, so all these are advanced biohacking therapies you can use. Now, what are the benefits? When you do biohacking, you reduce the risk of disease, you reduce the risk of wear and tear and degeneration on your joints, you increase your energy, you enhance recovery. So even when you get sick, if you're doing these things, you realize that you come out of it very quickly. Supports cellular repair, it improves your quality of life, and ultimately it increases your lifespan. Okay, so who is eligible for biohacking? As you can see here, the most important sentence is the last one. Anyone who wants to live a long, healthy, and fulfilling life should or is eligible for biohacking. However, people who have chronic fatigue, insomnia, anxiety, depression, mental issues, autoimmune disease, weight issues, fibromyalgia, sexual dysfunction, all these things, if you have any of them as you're seeing, then biohacking may be an answer for you. So first step, what do we do to longevity? Like Uncle Sam said in the beginning, we need to see where you are at first. So at Nova Viva, we have an evaluation that we do. It tells us, are you more sympathetic or parasympathetic? It tells us about your biological age as compared to your chronological age. It tells us the organs in your body that are not working at an optimal frequency. Then once we know these things, then we come up with a 3-month plan for you. Now your plan would be different from everybody's plan would be different. Some people need more things for pain. Some people need more things for stress. Some people need things for weight issues. So when you come in, depending on what we find, we're able to recommend your particular treatment for you. Now, the treatment would include both the natural 10 biohackers and the advanced biohackers, like I talked about. Some people may need supplements. Some people may need things like laser for aesthetics and for weight loss. So everybody will be different in what they would need as far as the natural and then the advanced biohackers. This slide talks about supplements, but my time is fast spent. I personally don't believe in the one-size-fits-all supplements because my personal needs will be totally different from even somebody who is my age, their needs. So I personally don't advise the above 60 supplements for women, above 50 supplements for men. I would rather take what I need based on what is going on with me. So vitamin D, a lot of us need because we are usually vitamin D deficient. Magnesium, L-theanine is something found in green tea. A lot of us need omega-3 fatty acids, turmeric, NAD plus for anti-aging, and these supplements will go a long way to help. All right, I am finishing up now, but we do have a special Father's Day promo. So all the men here, I want to invite you to take advantage. We don't celebrate our men enough, and we also realize that our men like to do macho things. So they don't like to do evaluations. They don't like to go and get checkups done. But I really, really want to challenge and encourage men to check their stress levels, to check how well their body is functioning. For the rest of the month of June, if you're interested, we have discounted rates for our consultations, and I'll highly recommend that you get in touch with us and get it done. Thank you so much. I am done. We're located at Jolu, and we're very close to Vanjay Eye Care. And so if you have issues Nova Wellness Center takes care of the pain, spine, and joint related issues naturally without any medication or surgical procedure. And then at Nova Viva, we're very interested in how well your body functions. Our tests, our treatments are all natural, both at Nova Wellness Center and at Nova Viva. So there's very, very, very little to no side effects, but when you come in, depending on what is going on, we'll curate a plan for you that will help to improve your health from wherever you are currently onto the next level. You can also reach us on social media at Nova Viva or at novavivagh.com or at novawellnesscentergh.com. Thank you very much. I would like to now take your questions, and then any feedback as well is very, very much welcome. Thank you, Uncle Sam. I tried. 801.
You try. It did. Um, Good. Wow. This, I didn't want you to go, but you left. Actually, it was so good. I was just taking notes. But as you were going through it, me too, I was listing all the things. And now,
Uncle Sam, I
I
cannot
know
hear
why.
you if you're speaking.
Oh, okay. Um, Hello, can you hear me?
Uncle Sam, I cannot hear you.
Okay.
All right.
I could,
Hello, Sarah, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Okay. Akofa, can you hear me? Other people on the call, can they hear me?
Now, can you hear me?
Akofa, you can hear me. Now, can you hear me now?
Now it's frozen.
Okay, so now it looks
I
like
cannot hear you.
Now,
hey,
I guess you have to go off and come back again. We can hear
okay,
you. You cannot hear us.
but Sarah can hear me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you.
All right, people, this has been a great presentation if you're hearing me, and I believe that we can do better with our health. I have taken a lot of notes and I'm doing just a list of things that I think are needed. I did the evaluation. I did the evaluation. Let me bring that. Now can you hear me now?
Oh
You
dear.
can't hear me.
Now, can you hear me? No, she's not.
Wow. This is strange, eh? All right. So because everybody can hear me, but now can hear me is interesting.
We,
It
we,
happened last week also, but I have more questions for him. Those on the Zoom, please, can you hear me?
yes, we
All
can.
right. Oh, a lot of everybody can hear me. All
Yeah.
right.
We
So
can hear
I'm,
all of you,
I'm
but
so sorry that Naa cannot hear me.
Sam, can you hear me?
Hi, can you guys
Pardon?
hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can hear you. Can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you. Now,
Okay, I think you're saying yes, but I cannot hear you. I can't hear
But
you.
can you hear Sarah?
can you hear me?
Okay. All right. So
Now,
can
can
we
you?
take the questions now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Let's see. Then Sarah, can she hear you? Sarah, communicate with Naa and see if she can hear you.
Now, can you hear me? Now,
Okay, so somebody is asking, so how much sex is too much? Should I go ahead with that answer? Maybe you can give a thumbs
Yes,
up or
please.
something. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay, so somebody is asking how much sex is too much. So from what I have heard, on average, we're looking at about 1 to 2 times a week
okay.
minimum. So minimum, and this is from a urologist, and this was more looking at males, okay? And they said, especially for males, we're looking at a minimum of once a week. So 52 times a year, you should have sex. Reason being, it's a physiological activity, especially for men, because they need ejaculation for their prostate gland and all those things to continue to function. So if you are not ejaculating at least once a week, that can affect those things and cause disease to happen. So bare minimum once a week. As far as okay, yes, now I can hear you guys. Great. As
Okay.
far as what the extreme is or how much is too much, in the same vein, still for men, it takes a lot for men to ejaculate and get a little bit of semen. The energy, the whole process is a lot for the body, because in a little bit of semen, you have millions of sperms. Okay. So that whole process is very, very intensive. And so, again, in as much as minimum is one, you can't also be doing 3, 4 times, 5 times a week.
Whoa.
That may be too much. And you realize that most people who have that much sex, a lot of the times they're using aphrodisiacs, they're doing all sorts of things to be able to have that energy to have that much sex. So it has to be anywhere in between the lower end of 1 to 2 a week, and also not too much. 6, 10 times a week, that may be too much.
Wow. Okay. Thank
Yes.
you Naa, for that. Very
Any
exciting.
other questions? Let me see if there's
Okay.
any other
So if
questions.
Naa can hear me, let
Yes, I
me
can hear
now
you
that
now.
you can hear me now. All right. So I was saying that, and I encourage everybody. I have been listing the things that I think are giving me the report you gave me with all the things you've listed. So I want to now you talked about sleep. And this sleep, I mean, 7 to 8 hours can will some people have a different biology that they don't need 7 to 8 hours, or who can recover quickly for less number of hours?
So all these things we talk about is usually based on research that has been done on a large population. So when they say the 7 hours, they are talking, I believe, about a majority of us. Okay. Are there people who are very, very fine with having 5, 6 hours of sleep? It's fine. But what I recommend is that even if you are not able to have 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep every night, for instance, come the weekend, you should shoot for that, or you should aim to sleep more. Maybe during the week you have a long commute to work and there's kids and all those things, so it's difficult. But come weekend, when you don't have those constraints, then you want to do your best, because another reason why the sleep is so important is this, Uncle Sam. The only time your brain is able to rejuvenate is when you are sleeping. Because as you are awake, as you're listening, as you're working, your brain is going at 100 miles per second for every single action to take place. Before you lift your head up, information has to go from your muscles to your brain to tell it that now wants to lift her head up. Before, the brain will also send impulses back to the muscles of the head and say, okay, go ahead and do it. So your brain is so delicate that it's extremely important that the brain shuts down. And so when you are continuously not sleeping enough, imagine your car literally just going non-stop. You are traveling to Tamale and you don't stop to refuel, to service, none of that. Your car will just break down. And it's the same thing that is happening in the brain. One of the studies I read showed that in people who had Alzheimer's disease, 40% of them, when they went back to when they were younger, 40% of them reported insomnia. And reason being, when we don't sleep, there are certain plaques or toxins that accumulate or build up in our brain. And then over time, it diminishes how your brain functions, and that can lead to Alzheimer's disease. So it tells you that the sleeping thing, we shouldn't play with it. It's very, very, very important. And we should look at the things that don't make us sleep. One of the things is the vitamin D in the morning. Another thing is these things here that we go and lay in bed with and then continue to stimulate our brain. So our brain thinks we're still active. Another thing is the foods we eat. If we're eating too heavy at night, instead of your body shutting down, your body will now be digesting the food. Drinking water, drinking a lot of things. If you are now remembering that, hey, the whole day I haven't drunk water, and then at 10 o'clock you try to chuck down a whole bottle of water, it means you have to get up in the middle of the night and go and pee. And so we have to look at the things that don't give us a good quality sleep, and then we should look at those, and it should help.
Okay. Now, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. So for me, I'm just thinking about myself. My issue with sleep, and my main takeaway is
Sorry, Auntie Sarah, you're breaking up, so I can't hear you too well.
yeah. Okay, I'll come back.
Sarah, it seems your network today is not great. Okay. Now, Sarah will rejoin using her other network. But you talked about movement.
Uncle Sam, I can't hear you again.
You can't hear me again. This is strange.
Once
What's
Sarah
going on?
went off, I couldn't hear. I can hear you.
You can't hear me at all. Hello? Oh my gosh.
So the family business coach, thank you. You've been very active. I've been seeing your comments. We're looking forward to meeting you. Yes, the lights and the stimulation from not only the phone but the TV, that can definitely slow down your sleep. So yeah, I think we can be a bit more intentional. And as far as the routines, it's difficult. I'm not saying that, like with the example I gave, I do it every single day. No, but I really push myself and try that at least 3-4 times a week. I do what I call the sun gazing, or I make sure that I do well. So I'm very intentional on making sure that at least some days of the week I'm able to do that. The thing about longevity, and I see Lakwe made a comment here about consistency. The thing about longevity is consistency. So whether you decide that you're going to do it 2 times a week or 5 times a week, it's about being consistent with what you're able to do. So for instance, if you decide that you will exercise once in 6 months, what it means is that you might as well not exercise at all, because that once in 6 months is not what is going to do it for you. But if you decide that you're going to exercise twice a week for the rest of your life, no matter how or what that exercise is, the consistency is what will give you results. Okay. Thank you very much, Lakwe. Yes. We're all working on
Great.
it, bits and pieces, slowly but surely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, can you hear me now?
All right.
Can
Any
you hear
other
me now?
questions? Let me see here if there's anything else. The family business coach. Yes, so we will definitely like to get in touch with you and see how we can help improve your wellness. I see you're already doing some of the things, so that's
Okay.
great.
Sarah, check
Um,
if now can hear you because
if-
she
Can
can't
you hear
okay,
speak.
me?
somebody is asking. Akon Samuel is asking, what if your recovery routine is forgetfulness? Okay, that may not be bad. You just forget about whatever it is and move on. I think that won't be bad at all. If you are able to do that and you're very sure that once you're able to take it out of your brain and it will never come back in, then good for you. But I think that it's not just about forgetting, but it's more about how do you manage that thing. I think everything that happens to us happens for us. So the fact that it happened to you, there may be a certain benefit. You may not see it today. So forgetting it totally may or may not be ideal, depending on the situation. However, dealing with it appropriately, or dealing with it in such a way that even if you remember it again, you're strong enough to deal with it, I think will be very good. Yeah.
Okay,
Great.
Let me see any other questions. Okay, so Akon Samuel also asked, does mental activity contribute to aging? Yes, so doing different things, and that's why they always say that as you get older, learn a new language, start doing gardening, all those things. You start to use different parts of your brain, pick up a new hobby, learn a musical instrument, start a new exercise routine. All these things would help to engage you mentally. So yes, 1,000%. I mean, a lot of the things that we're doing, or we talked about, even just the breathing, just taking slow, very, very controlled breathing would help to improve your mental capacity. So yes, that can also help. Wondering if strength of bones is included, or is it an effect of one or combination of the factors in action? Yeah, strength of bones is very, very important. I talked about exercise and the movement. All those things will help to strengthen your bones naturally if you're doing these things. Even the breath work, once you're able to calm down and go into a parasympathetic nervous system, it helps with every part of your body, not just your heart rate, but even helps to reduce pain, which sometimes comes from degeneration of bones and so on and so forth. So yes, all these things are very, very much interrelated. All right. Okay, so I think we've gone through all
Good.
the questions that I see here. I promised that we're going to give some gifts. So I want to
Yes.
do that now before I forget.
Unfortunately, I cannot. Now, can you hear me
Uncle
now?
Sam, can I go ahead with that?
Yes, you
Yes.
can go
Okay.
ahead.
So,
Yes.
the family business coach, and is it Akon Samuel? You have been very good with connecting with us.
and I co- yeah.
So I'm
Mhm.
going to let my team catch up with you. So the family business coach and Akon Samuel, if one of my team members can quickly speak to you or reach you,
Or you they can
we
put their
can
numbers in
definitely,
there.
I would
If
like
you
to
can
bring you
put
over
your
to the
numbers,
clinic and
put your numbers in
see
the chat so they
what's
can
going on
call
with
you.
you and see what we can do to improve your health. I think that we'll be able to at least bring some improvement to whatever you have going on. So my team will get in touch with you. All right.
Perfect.
Good.
Now, can you hear me?
Auntie Sarah, I cannot hear you.
It must be
And
your phone
Okay,
or your
so Akon Samuel is asking here, at what age does exercise not translate into bone strength? Because athletes then or tend to appear weaker in old age. Now, there are definitely different types of exercises. You see, we have to remember. And as you age, you also have to change the type of exercise that you're doing. So we don't expect that when you hit 50, you will still be doing what?
competitive.
Jumping jacks every day, like you used to do when you were 20. You see, so it's very, very, very important that as you age, you change the exercises accordingly, for both men and women. However, they are saying these days that strength training, so be it lifting of weights, doing things like push-ups, functional exercises, really, really, really helps to maintain your muscles, strengthen your bones as you age. Okay, so strength training, lifting weights, you want to start after you have been medically assessed. You don't want to just boom, jump and go and start doing these exercises. But if you decide to do these things, you are checked first, then you can slowly start building up. Okay. The fact that athletes to appear weaker in old age may not necessarily be just because of their exercise. There's so many other things that can happen. So it could be the food they're eating, it could be stresses they've had, over the period. Whether are they hydrated properly? All the things that we talked about. So even though they are athletes and they may have been exercising their whole lives, maybe they haven't been eating well. So sometimes as they get older, they may also age. Okay. 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 Seems like I'm the only one who can't hear you. You don't want to answer our hard questions. No, that's not the case. Somebody is asking, apart from doing adequate sleep, 7 to 8 hours, what other activities can compensate for those doing less sleep and physical activities? Breath work. Okay, I'm not saying replace the breath work with I'm not saying do breath work and don't sleep, but sleeping, naturally you are in the parasympathetic nervous system. One of the things that you can do that would push you directly into the parasympathetic nervous system when you are not sleeping is breath work. So that controlled breathing, getting quiet place and just eyes closed and just breathe and try to empty your brain. That literally tries to shut your nervous system, your brain down so that you can heal. So I'll say that if you are not sleeping enough, trying to reduce your hyperactivity in between your day, if you can get a quick 20 minutes and do some controlled breathing, and you can go on YouTube. There's plenty. There's more than enough. You can decide to do ocean. Like for me, one of my recovery routine is to hear the waves of the water. So when I'm very, very stressed, I just like to drive out of Accra and I need the beach. I need to see the waves. I need to hear the waves. And by the time I come back from that, I start to recover. For some people, it's the forest or hearing the birds chirp, all these things. Now, when you go on YouTube, you can get either of them. For some people, it's listening to somebody speak, and these days the internet has everything you need. So, yeah, these are some of the things you can do. And if you do them consistently, trust me, it will help you to sleep. It will help you to sleep. Okay. All right. So, okay. So Akofa will get in touch with you, Catherine, and we'll get you to Nova one way or the other. All right.
Now,
Is it necessary to sleep 7 hours straight? Sorry, I didn't finish reading that question. Or you can have it in batches within the 24 hours. No, we're talking 7 hours straight. You can take a nap during the day. I think somewhere in Europe, some countries, they are able to have a siesta at a point during the day, and it's part of their lifestyle. Even when those of us who went to boarding school, that after school we are asked to sleep by force, siesta time, so that is different. But when you go to bed at night, the research is saying that 7 hours straight uninterrupted. And like I'm saying, it may be difficult to do that 7 nights a week, but let's shoot to do that. Even if you can do that 3-4 times a week, every week, it's better than doing 3-4 hours every single day. And I did a little research some time ago to see how many hours people are sleeping. You'll be shocked that for most people it's between 3 to 4 hours every day. And I think that is why a lot of us are so sick, because we're just not sleeping enough. Okay. So Catherine is asking, those of us who have early onset menopause in their 30s who suffer from bone density loss, What can some mitigating measures be to maintain bone health? Very great question. Unfortunately, our biology is changing. So kids are starting their periods at 8, 9 years old, and then women are starting their menopause in their 30s. So there's definitely a hormonal thing going on. And so when you come in, we'll have to check and see what's going on with our wellness check. Sometimes we'll have you do some labs as well. We would refer you to do that. And then sometimes we may have to add some supplementation. A lot of things can happen. Stem cell health, stem cell patches may help. But some of the mitigating measures to maintain bone health, I would want to look at the nutrition very, very closely. Catherine, to see what you're eating. A lot of the times we may be consuming things that are naturally pulling calcium out of the bone. So we will look at your diet very closely. Most of the time, when people come, the first thing I let them do is to give me a 3-day dietary, what do you call it? Plan what they have eaten. Maybe they will take a weekend or something. I need a good number of days to see what you're consuming, everything that is going into your body, and then we use that as well. So it's a lot. I'm hoping that we'll be able to see you, Catherine, and then we'll take it from there.
All right. Thank you so much. I think
Is breath work the same as deep breathing, heart coherence exercises? Yes and no. I mean, breath work can be different things, and there are different types of breath work. So if you're doing specific heart coherence exercises, it may be a type of breath work, but there are different types. Okay.
good. I guess we can let Naa go now.
What
And
about people with coronary heart disease that may trigger when involved with
unfortunately,
physical
you
activity?
can't
And
hear
that's
us.
why I said
If your
make
questions are
sure
coming,
you
you can
go and
continue
get
to answer.
checked before you start any physical activity. It's extremely important. That's exactly why I said that.
Okay.
Yes, you have to. Yes, once you get older, sometimes you pee a lot. So you need to watch your water intake. Make sure you're not drinking water at least 3 hours to bedtime. You can try some of these tricks here and there. But like I said, a lot of the things I'm talking about is for the general population, and that may not include people who have peculiar issues like maybe they have kidney disease, so you may not be in that category of everybody else, and therefore because you have kidney disease, maybe you have to pee a lot and so on and so forth. So women are also fathers. Do they get the discount for the Father's Day? Yes, I totally understand. Just give us a call, tell us you were on this talk with the CTL, and yes, you will get that discount. Just let me put our number out here, if I can. I don't know. It's saying I should connect, but you can call us. The number at Nova Viva is 024 721 5425. Let me take that again and make sure I had it correct. So that's Nova Viva number. It is 024 721 5425. Please do well to give us a call. And we will do well to help you out. If you want to come to Nova Wellness Center, if you're looking at more pain issues, then you can also call us at 054. I've talked so much that now I can't even remember the numbers that I work with every day. Nova Wellness Center, 054 958 6494. 054 958 6494. All right. So I think we've been talking for a while now. Thank you so much to everybody that has joined us. It's been fun. And yeah, just give us a call for the rest of the month of June. Like I said, we're giving discounts because it's Father's Day, and we really want to encourage not only men but everybody to get checked. Let's know what your stress levels are. Let's see how best we can help you. Okay. Thanks, Uncle Sam, Auntie Sarah. My parting words for everybody: you only have one life. There's only one, so please take care of it, and nobody can take care of you more than you yourself can. Only you can take care of you, not me, not your medical doctor, not your spouse. Only you can take care of yourself. So please, let's pay a little bit more attention to this amazing human body that God gave us. And if we take care of these bodies, the bodies will take care of us. Thank you so very much. And I am done.
Thank you so very much, Naa. Thank you so very much. Unfortunately, you could not hear us, but you've done a great job trying to manage all the questions and answering all of them. Sarah, what do you think?
It's amazing. The only thing is that she didn't answer my question, so I'll have to see her.
Yes, because she doesn't want the difficult questions from you and I, but it's fine. It's
No, it's been
answered all the
amazing.
questions of our
Yeah, it's been
participants.
amazing.
And,
Yeah.
and guys, this is great. You know, you have to prevent the sicknesses and diseases from coming by taking care of the body. All your dreams, all your visions, all your aspirations, and everything, your spirituality, everything resides in the body. We have not prioritized our bodies enough. Let's take good care. These are good lessons. I've been going to Nova for a very long time, and I can see the benefit. So we want to encourage all of you to share this lesson, but also visit Naa and the team, and they will take good care of you. On that note, Sarah,
Night.
we want to end it here and say a good night and God bless you.
Next week. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do that now.